Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Nicole, and today we are going to be making not one, not two, but 3 pans of $1 million spaghetti. Why am I making 3 pans, you ask? Well, that's a good question. So our church does this thing every month where they support a different cause. And for the month of May, they support foster children. So what they do is they give out pans and ask for freezer meals. So then you take the freezer meal to the church. Church delivers it to the foster system. And when a new kid arrives at a new foster family, they also give the parents a meal that all they have to do is pull out of the freezer and put in the oven so that they can have a home-cooked meal, especially in that first week when they're trying to all get acclimated and accustomed to each other. So this year, I decided to make 3 pans of $1 million spaghetti. Let's get this started. Just so we know, we're focusing on these 2 pots, not that one. That one's just there doing something else.
You don't want to boil spaghetti in apple juice? Could be interesting.
Okay, now that we're starting to get some bubbles forming, now is when you add the salt, and you want to add enough salt to your water to make it like seawater, so they say. But you don't want to do that until it's getting close to boiling, or else it'll scar your pan.
We're reducing apple juice for an apple glaze for something else. Bacon wrapped apple glaze pork chops.
Hopefully video to come for that too. Once the water is boiling, it is time to go ahead and add your pasta. Follow the directions on the box for cooking time. Mine said 6 to 7 minutes. You definitely want to undercook or cook al dente, which basically translates to the teeth. That's just what they say, but you're gonna go ahead and bake it in the oven. So if you cook it to al dente, it will finish cooking once it's in the oven in that yummy sauce. Also, I really love this long oval pan for cooking spaghetti noodles. It makes it easier to get them in there because you can just dump and go. Whereas a round pot, you kind of have to work the noodles down as they're cooking. It helps to stir the pasta while it is cooking. That way it doesn't stick to the bottom or clump up in any way, shape, or form. Also, if you want another add-in that you can do, sometimes people add in olive oil and it'll help keep the noodles from clumping together. We really like this pasta strainer. It clips onto most any pot. It doesn't fit on the oval pot there, but the oval pot there has a pour spout so you can put the lid on and it'll help you drain the water. It is a pasta pot after all. But this strainer works on most any pot that we own. It takes up very little room in the cabinet and it's just easy to clean, easy to store, and it's amazing. Once the pasta has cooked, it is time to drain off all of the water. Watch out, you will get a steam bath if you're not careful. Now, you want to get a jar of Alfredo sauce. You can use any Alfredo sauce you want. We got the 4-cheese Alfredo Classico. And you pour it in on your pasta. I got just a touch of water to kind of loosen it up, but also get all that yummy Alfredo sauce out of my jar. And then mix it together. Then we're gonna pull out the handy dandy, my deal broke. And we're going to lightly coat the pan. And then we're going to pour the pasta into the pan. Easy peasy.
Limon. Easy.
And then just level it out, even it out. And then it's waiting for the next step. See, there's not much water in there at all. Kind of looks a little, come on, Kim. It looks a little more than what there really is. Maybe a tablespoon just to make sure that we get it all.
We rinsed the pan out after we dumped it because we're not done with the pan just yet. Now it's time for the meat sauce mixture.
Alright, so we have fresh ground 40 Creek beef, processed at Mays County Processing in Pryor, Oklahoma.
We're trying to make this as kid-friendly as possible, so we're leaving out the onions and we're leaving out the bell pepper that most people tend to put in this because we want kids to want to eat this. And sometimes kids are picky about that.
So you want 1 pound of ground beef for the meat mixture. Our ground beef here is very lean, so I went ahead and I added just a couple of tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil to allow it somewhere to go and help render out the fat. Now it is time to season the hamburger with salt and pepper. I once had a friend who hated pepper, so always caution on the side of error, but salt and pepper add a lot of great flavor to a dish. I also added a couple cloves of garlic for added flavor. This was the jarred stuff, but don't worry, I have stuff coming in my garden. Now it's time to add in your pasta sauce. We did use Rouse, which is a little bit more expensive. You can use any variety of pasta sauce you want to use. Rouse is pretty good, but so are others. Anyway, you want to add that into your hamburger, mix it in. I added a couple of tablespoons of water to my jar just to make sure I got all the sauce out. Added it in, stir it up, and then you need to let it simmer for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Last batch of pasta inbound.
Now that your meat sauce is cooked, we need to go in and we need to add a layer of cheese on top of our pasta. You could use mozzarella, you could use Italian blend, you could use cheddar if you wanted, whatever you want. You want a total of about 3 to 4 cups of cheese for this whole thing. My package here was 1 3/4 cups. So I used a whole package just on the pasta layer and then went back in with another package for my top layer. Once you have the cheese out there, just spread it around in a nice even layer and you're good to go.
Alexa, stop timer.
Now it is time to pour the meat sauce over your cheese mixture. There are a couple of variations to this. Some use cream cheese and other additives like that, but this one is very simple and straightforward. Once you have your meat sauce on, go ahead and spread it out and then top it with another layer of mozzarella. Once the mozzarella is on, just kind of spread it out, make a nice even layer. And then I decided to go ahead and add a few handfuls of Parmesan cheese while I was at it, because why not? It's cheese and kids love cheese, right?
Okay, now that the cheese is on top, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a lid on this and stick it in the freezer. Normally what you would do is stick it in a 375-degree oven for 25 to 30 minutes until it's all brown and bubbly. And if you want to stick it under your broiler for about 5 minutes, that makes it even better. Because we are donating this to the church, we had to put what it was, how to cook it, and the date that it was prepared. So, there you go. Ready for our next pan to be finished.
As you can see, this is really quick and easy to put together, and it makes a great freezer meal. So I would go ahead and make up a couple pans of this while you're doing it. It doesn't take a lot of extra time. Put them in your freezer and then you're good to go for another day at another time. One thing we had to do was freeze them before we took them to the church. So I took all 3 of my pans, threw them in the freezer, and they were ready to go come Sunday morning. Hope you enjoyed this meal. Think about giving it a thumbs up, subscribing to the channel, and we'll see you next time. See you later. Bye.